Alright, hey guys! So this year actually marks the 15th anniversary from the moment I started making YouTube videos. It's been one hell of a ride since then. We've had tons of ups and downs, and I wanted to share with you guys some of the memories that we've had on this channel and some of my other channels, and kind of explain why I started doing YouTube in the first place. Now, I don't have any scripts written, I don't even have any bullet points or anything like that. This whole thing is as real as it gets, and it's all from memory. So some of this stuff might be a little hazy, and I might get some of the dates wrong and stuff like that, but I wanted to share with you guys what I do remember as a bit of a celebration of the last 15 years and maybe of stuff to come. Now, I made my first video back in 2005. It was a PlayStation 1 collection, and I remember making that video based on some other random YouTuber that I had watched. He was showcasing all the cool game collections that he had, and I just thought, man, it'd be really cool to find some like-minded people and get some feedback on some of their favorite memories with some of these games that I loved. And back then, I think I just started working my own job, or yeah, I think it was my first job, I think. If not, it was sometime around that period when I started getting money and I could buy things on my own, and kind of jumping into that point of being an adult and being extremely irresponsible as a teen with your money. Now, I remember my collection being really small, and to this day, I actually don't even know what happened to the video. I think I might have taken it down at some point. But I remember me just showcasing all these different games, and at the very end, I had this lockbox that I opened up, and Final Fantasy VII was in it, because I thought it was one of the most precious and rare games of all time, and boy, was I wrong. Tons of people made fun of me for that, but I didn't care. I was having a blast doing it. I remember those first few videos, I think they were pretty far apart when I actually made them, because I'd just gotten myself this Sony Handycam, one of the ones with the little DV cassettes, and I don't know if it was broken the moment I got it, but you could hear this clicking in every video. If you go back and watch some of my lockdown videos, you can actually hear this tiny little clicking throughout the videos, just like a... And it's the most annoying thing. Back then, I didn't have any editing softwares to work with. There was no Premiere or Sony Vegas. I had Windows Movie Maker, and I was not good at it. But I made the most of it, and I produced the first few videos. Now, this spot is where things kind of get a little weird and hazy. I don't really remember what happened in that first little while. I just remember YouTube was this new avenue, and I didn't understand the concept on how things started to grow on YouTube and how things were going to change. And I think on those first few videos, I expected to get hundreds of thousands of views just because I uploaded a video. And looking back on it now, it's just such a stupid idea. Why would random people be interested in this? So, of course, as expected, or I should say as unexpected by me, I ended up getting something like maybe 3 views, 3, 4, 5, and I don't even remember telling people that I had posted videos. That part is so hazy. But I do remember what happened next. So sometime around 2008, 2009, probably in summer-ish, I had gotten into this extremely toxic relationship. Now, anybody who knows me personally knows all about this, and I've told them the story 1,000 times. But it was one of the worst times of my life. I was going through all kinds of struggles and all this stuff. And really, YouTube hadn't picked up for me. I didn't have a following. I didn't have a community or friends or anything like that. I had just done a few videos before, and that was it. So when this relationship kind of ended, which it ended multiple times, so there's a bunch of different things that happened. But when this relationship kind of ended, I was in a really bad spot, and the only thing that I really had that kind of kept me in a good mood was every so often after work, I would come home, have a snack, and watch Angry Video Game Nerd. And I absolutely loved his videos, just the way that you felt like you were involved in what was going on, like he was talking to you directly, and it just felt like such a connected thing where you guys were sitting down playing this game and he was complaining about it or praising it, depending on what it was, but that was pretty rare. And it was just this really enjoyable experience. It was like having a friend that wasn't really there, just somebody you could rely on, and somebody who wouldn't bring up all the bullshit. Instead, they were just an entertaining place to go and, kind of just forget about things. And I latched onto that for quite a while. It was sometime around this time that I started thinking about all those videos I had made in the past and all that stuff. And I thought, man, maybe I could do videos like AVGN and all I had was still all my crappy equipment, and I had this old computer. They had like a tube monitor, and I fucking shit you not, it only had a 20 gigabyte hard drive. That was the whole thing, okay? This thing was, at the time, it was revolutionary. Actually, you know what? No, when I was making these videos, it was still crap, but when we first got it, like back in 98, it was like, it was the shit. It was old, but I just had no concern for computers at the time. I didn't know the importance. You know, as long as it went online, that's all I cared about. So, yeah, I ended up having to reassess a few things when I started making videos again. But for a while, it kind of just stayed the same. And I encountered these two YouTubers, well, more than two, but two of them stood out. Petedorr and HappyConsoleGamer. Now, some of you guys are probably still subscribed to them. They make content even to this day. HappyConsoleGamer does stuff all the time. I see him posting all kinds of great content, and you guys should definitely go check these guys out. I will try to include a link down below. But yeah, these guys were making great collection-based content, talking about some of their favorite games, some stuff I had never heard of, and I was just blown away by this. And they had this fantastic community, and it was like the coolest thing ever. And I wanted that. So kind of jumping the gun a bit here, but when it came to time to name my channel, I wanted to come up with something that was like me, you know? I had no ideas, and I was really focused on writing stories at the time. So I named my channel Lockdown after one of the characters that I had created. And I don't know, I guess back then I thought it was a really cool sounding name, and I was like, okay, well, whatever, I'll go with this, and if we ever become something more, then I'll just change the name later or something like that. Which, as you'll see later, was definitely not a good idea originally, but yeah, no. So with these guys, I also found a few other people, the Gamers01, who now I think is Infinite Ascension, Stephstoodef, Sarinthra, a whole bunch of amazing YouTubers that were kind of in the same community. And by complete fluke, we kind of all became friends and created this little group. You know, there was TV and Lust, and oh my god, there's so many of them, and a lot of their names are just escaping my head now because it's been almost 10-15 years. But there was a ton of amazing YouTubers, most of which have unfortunately left YouTube. But I just remember going home and watching their videos and feeling like I was a part of some kind of bigger community that kind of all shared similar interests and were all equally as creative. Now, this was when I really started making YouTube videos. I remember one of my first few was actually a review of Resident Evil 5's demo that I got from a friend long before the demo came out, long before the game came out, and I thought this was going to be amazing content. I'll have this review of a game that nobody has played yet, and it'll be super awesome. So I got my buddy Jeremy and my other friend Sean together, and we did this Resident Evil 5 co-op review thing. And the quality is absolute garbage. It is horrible. But to this day, I look at it as one of my favorite memories making videos. I remember being there and setting up the camera and it not working the first time. So me and Jeremy had to go through it all over again. And during the second filming, he didn't know that we were recording. And at the end, I was like, thanks for watching, guys. And he just looks at me and goes, what? It was recording the whole time? And I just remember that. And that's still in the video. And I love it. It's one of my favorite, like, initial memories of doing videos for YouTube. So starting with that, it was a lot of fun, and I felt like this is something I could do quite often. I was in school at the time, and I think I also had 2 jobs. I was definitely doing 2 jobs and going to school, and I somehow still managed to have enough free time to both play games and film videos, not to mention going out and buying games and doing all kinds of other stuff, because I filmed all kinds of videos, adventure videos, going around doing whatever, which was some of your guys' favorites. A lot of you have told me that several times. I did some videos with Amanda the Jedi and a few other like local YouTubers and stuff like that, and it was a lot of fun. I had so much respect for all those people for putting in the same amount of effort that I did, and it's just so many good times. Eventually, as the community started to grow, I started to actually become closer friends with a lot of the people that used to just watch my videos, like my good friend James, who we still talk to this day, Nigel, who was, I believe, the Gamers 01 and Infinite Ascension. He was one of the first people that actually decided to kind of come up and talk to me, and he was making great videos at the time, and I remember just all the different conversations we had, getting to know all these crazy, amazing people on Skype. And I think actually back then it was like MSN Messenger. That's how old we are. But it was a lot of fun. And eventually I got to this point where I really wanted my community to grow. So I sought out help from the aforementioned Petedorr and HappyConsoleGamer. Now, I don't want you guys to think that I was literally jumping in just to try and use these guys for their views, because that was not it at all. I really respected these guys. These guys were the people I used to come home to and watch every single night, and I just wanted to be a part of their community. I wanted to do more things with them and be involved in all the different discussions and, videos that they were putting out. So I wrote some kind of suggestion in their comment section, like, hey, you guys should check out my video. I think it'd be really cool, whatever. And there was a video I was really proud of at the time. I don't remember what it was. But anyways, I submitted that, and by a complete fluke, they both watched it. I remember HappyConsoleGamer and Petedorr had given me a shout out really early in, and I got this huge influx of subscribers and viewers and all that stuff. Now, I was super grateful during that time. I was thinking, oh my god, this is the craziest thing. I was, I think, really, really young at the time, like 19, 20, and I was just like, this is the craziest thing ever. And it brought me out of that, like, depression that I was in from that toxic relationship. Around this time, I also met Steph and a bunch of other great people that kind of started to become a more permanent part of my life, and a lot of them are still around today. But things were about to change, and unfortunately, there was nothing I could really do about it. I had a lot of personal stuff going on, and at the same time, Steph and I were looking at moving out, getting our own place. This would probably have been somewhere close to 2012, 2013. And I just remember us having to deal with the moving stuff and, making videos at the same time while doing school and work. Actually, I graduated high school, but I think we were looking at going into college at the time. And anyways, there was just a lot of stuff going on. I remember being like dogpiled with stuff. Now that I lived with somebody, I had to start thinking about, them wanting to have their time and personal space and all that stuff. And it was really hard to find a moment to set up and make videos. I did have a room dedicated to it, but there was a lot of other complications kind of mixed in. And it just made it very challenging and hard. So the videos started to become less frequent, but I did start to dip into some different things, some things that I wanted to do since I started the channel. Collection videos were nice. They were a really great way to introduce myself to people, but I could only show you my PS1 collection so many times. I could only do videos about, some of the collectibles I had X amount of times, or unboxings were only available when I got a brand new game. So content was short either way. And I wanted to jump into something new, so I started doing Let's Plays. And I did some Let's Plays of some lesser-known games. I did some of some really popular ones, like Super Meat Boy. And I remember doing that and having a blast doing it. But it just seemed like the people that had came to my channel originally weren't there for that. They wanted something different, so the views started to dwindle. And I never entirely based my channel around, oh, well, don't do it if you're not getting views. But one thing any YouTuber will tell you is when people start to go away, you just start to get demotivated. When you don't get a good return on a video or something like that, especially if it's something you put a lot of work into and a lot of time and dedication, you just get people going off and it feels like you're alone. Like you put in all that hard work for nothing because nobody cares. And that's not always the case, but sometimes that's how it feels. So around this time, I was starting to create a lot of content that I actually did like, but it was just getting no return. So with that demotivation and that feeling of losing what I had built, I just kind of got more and more depressed and demotivated. Now, I know we're starting to sound a little redundant here, but it was just one of these things where after X amount of time, I was debating on what I wanted to do with YouTube. I had something like 2,500 subscribers, and I was only getting 70 views. And that was kind of like the harsh truth. YouTube was going through a lot of algorithm changes, and there was all kinds of different stuff going on. And I just remember feeling really bummed out by the whole thing, and thinking that if I was going to only get 70 views, then I might as well only have 70 subscribers. There's no point to have the 2,000-3,000 subscribers if nobody's watching. So then I got this idea of, you've done this for X amount of years, maybe you should rebrand yourself and start fresh. And people that really do want to see your videos, they'll come over from, this channel to another one, hopefully. And the first time I did do that, I changed myself from Lockdown to Skeptic. Now, a lot of you probably remember that first transition. It was kind of just more of the same, and really I don't know what the whole thought process was. Changing my name didn't really change anything about the channel. It was still the exact same channel. And I remember producing videos, a lot better quality now because I did have editing software and I did have experience and all this stuff. But I just remember it not really feeling a whole lot different. Everything was kind of still the same, and as a lot of viewers will point out, it was a lot of that startup and then drift off because, again, life got busy, things got in the way. But I did not want to give up YouTube because I felt like it was a big part of who I was. But during that time, a lot of people came over from the last channel. They showed me plenty of support, and I'm still grateful for that to this day. But once again, things started to drift off, and I just didn't know what I wanted to do. It seemed like I always found myself back in this same old slump of just not knowing what I wanted out of YouTube. Did I want to become the next achievement hunter or normal boots, or did I just want to be a solo guy talking in front of a camera? I had no idea, and if I'm honest, I still have no idea today. But eventually I realized that if I was going to grow and have more people involved in my projects, having the channel named after me just felt a little self-indulgent. I wanted to create something that was like a brand that people could associate with my group of friends, not just me, but having a bunch of people over the years who might not be able to contribute as often as they would like, but they still want to contribute. They want to be a part of this, and they want to share things with you guys. And then that's when I got the idea for Console Crashers. Because things had kind of cooled down over the years and I was at this steady decline, I decided that this was the proper time to try and reinvent myself. And, Console Crashers was born, but it still felt like more of the same. Now, a lot of you guys who are watching this video have been with Console Crashers probably since the beginning. You've watched a majority, if not all, the videos, or even just a few here and there, and I want to say thank you for that. And like I had mentioned earlier, I'm still not 100% sure what I want from YouTube as a whole. And even more so recently, I've kind of thought about quitting YouTube altogether. But the title of this video is not why did I quit YouTube, it's why did I start it. And I think the reason why I started it and why I do it now is two different things. And yet somehow it's still the exact same thing. When I first started YouTube, I did it as a way to become a part of a community, to get to know people. I wanted to be able to do these incredible things and be known as a hardcore, serious gaming collector, this guy that knew his stuff, which, by the way, I did not when I first started, who could be trusted, relied on, and be a safe place for people to go, kind of like AVGN was for me. But why do I do YouTube now? It feels like a lot of the community has left and everybody that's coming in is new and they stay around for a video or two, which is fine. I appreciate everything that you guys do for me. But why do I personally do it now? Well, I was looking back at it, and while some of the videos definitely don't feel like me, they don't feel real like this does, where I'm sitting down and what I'm saying to you is actually what I'm thinking at this moment. Some of them feel extremely scripted, and they use words that I would never use just because I thought, hey, why not? I give myself negative criticism all the time on all the videos I make, but for the majority of them, the ones that are real, the ones that include Twitch highlights, the ones that include YouTube clips, the people I've met through Twitch and YouTube and streaming, the people I've met through YouTube, the videos I do that I know you want to see. When I make those videos and they turn out great and I look back at them, they are like a collection of memories for me. It's like having a highlight of everything you've done over the last decade, and a lot of them make me extremely happy. They bring me back to that warm place that I used to be at way back when I was first making videos and when I was watching AVGN back in the day, and it's a really great feeling. I've come to accept that if nobody watches, that's fine, because at least for me, YouTube will be this place that I can go back and think, man, that was an amazing time, or this is a great memory, like that first Resident Evil video. There's a whole host of stuff on YouTube that's been defining moments for the last 15 years of my life, and I want to keep going with that. I'm not done with YouTube, and I don't plan to be done with it anytime soon, but I need to start doing it for me again, because for a while I was doing it just to cater to the algorithm. I was doing it just to grow, And that's not what I want to do. And it's not how most creators should do YouTube. Everybody seems to be looking to be the next big thing, and I'd be lying to say if I wasn't. But I think above that, what I want to be is real. Because I know that that's what you guys appreciate most, and that's what I appreciate most from all the other YouTubers that I watch. So I'm going to be doing all kinds of different content, and it might go from one thing to another. I'm trying to keep it organized for you guys, with Console Crashers having the majority of like the main content, and then Tradgik being more personal life stuff, and Console Crashers Play being more just gameplay stuff. That way you guys kind of know where to go to get what you want. But as for what the bulk of my content will be, well, I think from this point out, it's fair to say it's going to be whatever I want it to be. And hopefully that's something you guys will enjoy too. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I mean, this video's kind of gone on a lot longer than I expected it to anyway. But, thanks guys, you know, for everything you've done over the last few years. And maybe I'll do another video like this, at some point. So yeah, I'll see you guys all in the next video. And here's to the next 15 years.